What is up, everyone? My name is Jesse. This is the Auditorium. I react to video game music for the first time as a musician myself. Today is the debut, finally, of Dead or Alive. This is Dead or Alive 3. We have a pair of songs, Monster, the theme of Christie, and Reincarnate, theme of Hayate, from the channel Ultra Gamer 89, requested by Sakai Nuaride. Thank you very much. I have definitely heard of this game growing up. Today I found out that it was on Xbox. I had no idea, but I've definitely heard of Dead or Alive. I don't know much about it. I never played it, but being around fighting games for a long time, you definitely have heard of DOA. The only thing I know about DOA is that it has a couple of guest characters. I think, actually. I'm not entirely sure, but I think they have guest characters kind of normally, and then the infamous kind of like physics of the jiggle variety, and what else? Oh, it's a 3D fighter, and that's about it. That's all I know. I've never heard music from it, so this is really exciting for me. I do not know who the composer is. There's no information here. Let's just get into it. I'm super biased towards fighting game music. Just putting that out there. Also, the requester said I can kind of choose whatever, so hopefully this works. This is Dead or Alive 3, Monster, the theme of Christie. Okay. Tecmo. Yes. Okay, yeah, so Tecmo. Yeah. They do use guests. Alright, I don't want to talk too much. I've been wanting to hear this for like over 20 years, basically. It's a volleyball game too, right? Yeah, don't ask me how I know about that. Oh, I just got an idea. I'll tell you later. Oh my god! Really? Dude, I can't even remember how many Xbox songs I've heard. Is this the debut of Xbox original too? I have no idea. Oh yeah, alright DOA. God, fighting game music, man, I swear. It never misses. Well, for the most part. It's so good when something you've been waiting for so long lives up to the hype, you know? Let me know who these two characters are. I gotta look up the composer. I must know. Dead or Alive 3. Wait, Xbox? So that was 99? 2000? 2001. Close enough. Makoto Hisoi Takashi and Inamori Ryo Kyoki. Dude. There's so much going on in this song. It's changed so many times. Oh, it sounds so like spy. Sounds like a movie. Sci-fi movie. It's gonna come back, isn't it? Yeah, it's building back up. Oh, man. Alright. Let's prepare to move. Oh my gosh. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I think a lot of people know that, but it's stuff like this. Seriously, it's stuff like this that kind of inspired the whole inception of the channel, when I originally wanted to hear video game music that I haven't heard before, at that time I was heavily into like fighting game music and doing guitar covers of video game music, and most of the time it was fighting game songs. So I mean, you can check back, back then it was like Street Fighter 4, Tekken 5, stuff like that. So in reality, I thought my audience at that time was going to suggest me stuff like this, because that's kind of the audience I had, I guess. Little did I know that I underestimated gamers, because as soon as you ask, apparently, if you guys want a recipe for success on YouTube, I don't know if it still works, but for me it did. But if you want to get people's attention, you ask them about their favorite video game song. You ask them about songs they should hear in video game music. Because, damn, as you can see, the floodgates completely opened. And I didn't even get to hear like a fighting game song for a while through the requests. So it's kind of cool for me, because like this is sort of what I thought I would be doing. And I thought I would only be doing it for like a couple, maybe a week or something. It's been 4 years. So me hearing Dead or Alive for the first time, honestly, it's I feel kind of honored. It's cool. I've always heard about it. I've always seen it. Go watch. I'm not going to tell you to watch my videos, but if you're curious, go watch the first time I heard Guilty Gear. It was the same thing. When I first heard Guilty Gear, I was like, oh, so this is what's going on in the soundtrack, because it's the same thing. I just heard it. I've heard of Guilty Gear throughout the whole time I was around, and getting it to hear for the first time was just so. Dead or Alive, I had no expectations. To be totally honest, it's a game that I never really vibed with. Not to say there's anything wrong with it. It's just whenever it came on, it didn't really look that appealing to me. I don't know. When it comes to 3D fighters, I preferred to watch Tekken more, maybe even Soul Calibur, because I thought the ring outs were funny. But something about DOA, it just didn't appeal to me. It's probably super fun to play, and I'm not trying to knock it in any way. But it seemed like really technical, and it just didn't really like catch my attention. That's all. So I don't really know anything about it, really. I just know it exists, and I know it has its own kind of subculture, and there's like the girls and all that. And I don't even know if that was always a thing or if that came later. But one thing I wanted to mention is I did have a little bit of context on this one for the song, and it says right here, classic femme fatale assassin theme. Perfection. Now it's funny that says that, because that sounds really similar. Not similar, but the vibes gives me very Nina Williams vibes from Tekken and femme fatale assassin. So I'm kind of glad I got to read that little context, because yeah, I totally hear that. Like that's to me that sounded like a theme of like a femme fatale assassin movie lead. Right? If you listen to Nina's theme from Tekken 3, it's not as like intense as this one, but it has that little. It just kind of fits it a little bit. So that was cool. That was my first impression. We must move on though to the next song. That was really cool. I really like the electronic ambience to it. This is Reincarnate. Interesting title. I do have context for this one as well. It's a perfect song for a legendary ninja badass after recovering his memory. I guess that's where the Reincarnate comes from. And this is Hayate. I'm excited. Dead or Alive 3, Reincarnate. Ninja theme. I don't know what these characters look like, by the way, both of them. Actually, I don't know any characters in DOA, what they look like. I don't know them by name either. The only one I've seen is like an old man. I don't know his name though. Every good fighting game has the old man trope, right? Ken Fang or Long. Master Roshi. Soul Calibur have an old man? Ooh. This kind of reminds me of there's the ninja influence. Oh, dude, it sounds so well 2000s. Damn. Sick energy. I forgot what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something. Oh, it kind of reminds me of Street Fighter EX3 soundtrack a little bit, but that was in the 90s. It is fun hearing like the transition of fighting in music from the 90s to 2000s. Oh man. I kind of want to read these comments, but not really. It's always fun seeing how people reminisce over video game music. It's got a little bit of emotion to it. I mean, I guess... What was it, getting your memories back? Recovering your memories is quite an event. Both these soundtracks sound like they could be their own movie soundtrack. Oh, this also reminds me of Dynasty Warriors as well. I don't know why, but it kind of does. Man, just that like electronic... Man, the music of the 2000s just has such an identity, didn't it? Doom, tat, doom, tat, doom. Just had that like pulsating electronic bass. I feel like I mean, I don't know this. I just made this up right now. I never thought this before in my life, but I feel like one of the things that like kicked off that genre might have been like the MK movie theme of Techno Syndrome. Even though it didn't sound like that back then, I feel like the popularity of that song, you know, a couple years later evolved into like what we know as the kind of 2000s, like acid jazz and jungle and D&B, that kind of thing. This sounds so 2000s, right? That's why I was able to kind of pinpoint. I was a year off, but yeah. But then again, I saw that it was Xbox. And that's another thing. I don't know how much Xbox I've done. I've never owned an Xbox. I never wanted an Xbox. I don't know if I've heard a song. I mean, I don't think this was an exclusive. Maybe it was. Let me know if DOA 3 was exclusive to Xbox. I doubt it, because fighting games usually, you know, they're not the best selling games ever, so they kind of put them in everywhere. But let me know. But as far as I know, at this exact moment, I don't know if I've heard an Xbox One soundtrack before. Was Halo 2? Let me see. I did Halo 2 a while ago. Was that Xbox One? Halo 2. Halo 2. Yeah. No. Wait, it says Xbox 360 and Xbox. Hold on. We must figure this out. For the Xbox console. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, let me know. Besides Halo, if you guys are aware of any other time I've heard the Xbox One soundtrack here, let me know. I don't think I have. Or, I mean, let me rephrase that. It's such a small percentage. Out of all the videos I've done, I can't think of like a Microsoft console soundtrack here. But let me know. Either way, Both of these gave me that just quintessential 2000s vibe, and a little bit of Street Fighter EX3, which came before it. But man, dude, like I've just always been such a, for the longest time, fighting game music was like all I listened to. And people always ask me like what are my favorite soundtracks. A lot of those soundtracks are fighting game music. A lot of them. Skullgirls, Street Fighter Alpha 3, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Tekken 5, Tekken 6, Tekken 2, MK 1 through 3. I'm just trying to think of all of them right now. There's just like I can't. Well, now there's Guilty Gear. We have Blaze Blue now. What's that one? Under Night, right? Like there's just so much good stuff out there, dude. Dragon Ball Fighters has insane music. I love fighting game music. In fact, I'll even give you guys a kind of a spoiler for a VGM Vibes episode down the line. I don't even know what the theme of this episode is going to be, but I can tell you right now that I personally think one of the best songs ever made in video game history, not fighting games, not like video game history, is Moonlit Wilderness from Tekken 5. Just to show you like how highly I think of fighting game music, because it's so cool. You know, it's like for a lot of people, the casual audience, most people, fighting games are just like mash buttons with your friends and just kind of do stuff. Obviously, it's way beyond that. You have to learn frame data. You have to learn spacing. You have to learn, you know, like your longest limb button to hit footsies, all that, punishment. There's just so much that goes into it. So much that goes into it. So it kind of makes you appreciate the soundtrack just a little bit more, because really it's music to help you really focus during those times. During those intense moments of lightning fast reflexes, you know? And I mean like lightning fast. We're talking a couple frames. So, like for example, every game has throws, right? Like a throw animation. Well, if you want to break those throws, typically you have anywhere from like a 4 to maybe 12 frame input window. Meaning you see the throw and you have to press the right button to break it. 4 to 10 frames. It's somewhere, I don't even know that like where the scientific data is, but I've heard somewhere that it's like for the normal human to react to something visually is like 20 frames. Like a reactable thing. So yeah, anyways, what I'm getting at is like the music really amplifies this kind of stuff. And that's why I've always been so biased towards it. Not only because it's sick, but also, oh, of course, how did I forget Bloody Roar 2? My favorite soundtrack of all time. It's a fighting game. But the reason it's so cool is because you can do so much with fighting game music. It's always like a collaborative effort. So usually, I mean, like Tekken, for example, has composers from Nier and composers from Ace Combat, you know, stuff like that. Like there's a lot of room for different collaboration. You can do character themes, which describe the characters like we just heard. And then there's like stage themes, and there's just so much you can do. And then fighting games typically, scenery-wise, they go wherever they want. You know, they can be fighting in space or in some fire pit. And the music, there's just so many ways the music can go. And that's why I like it. So yeah, of course, I'm super biased towards it because I used to love this kind of stuff, you know? They're just really, really... It's such a cool genre of music. And finally, after so many years, I've heard Dead or Alive. I'm going to laugh my ass off if I've heard Dead or Alive before, but I really don't think I have. Let me check. Now I'm concerned. I might have to cut this part of the video and expose myself. Dead or Alive, Jesse's Auditorium. I wonder if people have searched for this. Oh, they have. Nope, I have not. Yeah, I would have remembered, I think. So yeah. Let me know your thoughts on fighting games. Let me know your thoughts on Dead or Alive. Whatever. Xbox, I don't know, whatever. Listen to Moonlit Wilderness from Tekken 5. And, yeah. You'll understand. But this is really good too. This is amazing. And tell me more about these characters. Do they represent Do their themes represent them? Is there more variety, or is it all kind of this sort of like jungle thing? Either way, I enjoyed that. That was awesome. Thank you, Sakai no Arita. Thank you to all the requesters and to the patrons you see on screen. I could not be here without them. My name is Jesse in the auditorium. Peace.